These are called purple-hooded peas, and they're really good because the colour of them being purple. A lot of peas are very hard to find on a bush, especially when they get a bit too thick and they're green in colour. They camouflage themselves in your crop very easily. But this variety here is a purple-hooded bean. You can see every pea that's on it. These are fruit fly baits. These are local people that give out fruit fly baits. I change these over every week, and it keeps the fruit fly down. And it's a thing that the whole town really has to do, because it's no good me baiting the fruit fly and my neighbour not baiting the fruit fly. So that the local Seed Savers group supply the whole town with fruit fly cards, and we change them on a weekly basis. This is samphire grass. It grows in the brackish water at the back of saltwater lakes. I've actually taken some cuttings from there, and I water it with 1 teaspoon of salt to 1 pint of fresh water, and I've had no trouble at all growing it, and it's harvestable qualities for putting on fish or put on potatoes, or we use it with broad beans. It's a vegetable that's, I suppose you'd have to say, a salt flavoured vegetable. What you get for it's high in vitamin C, and it's very good for you. I get a big pick. Probably a patch this big, I'll probably pick about 30 kilos in a picking, and I'll pick that amount about every 10 days. I'll get about 30 kilos of tomatoes. The only thing is that I'll probably only be able to pick for 3 to 4 weeks worth of good picking, because after that the birds will start to come in and they'll maraud my whole crop, and I've got to make sure that I put away enough tomatoes in a couple of weeks to last me the whole year. Artichokes. These are artichokes. I've got strawberries here. I have eggplants here. There's a little bit of basil there. This will be a crop of potatoes. Hopefully I'll get enough to keep me and Jenny fed for the year. This is yacon. There's probably 20 plants in a row of yacon here. They yield probably 10 to 15 kilos of tubers per plant. They're delicious in a salad. A yacon is a source of sugar, but instead of being an insulate sugar, it's an inulate sugar, which is very suitable for diabetics. Yacon, if you pulp a yacon with grapefruit juice, then you don't need any sugar. It'll sweeten grapefruit juice up in half yacon, half grapefruit juice. Combine those two together into a pulp. To make a drink out of it, you don't need any sugar on your grapefruit. The yacon is a sweetener in itself. Out of the yacon, these will give you 10 to 15 kilos of tubers per plant. A potato, I get about 5 kilos off a potato. So these are about 3 times the yield of a potato, which gives me a big advantage in a fruit. I'm quite happy to feed these to chickens. There's more here than what I can possibly eat. These are broad beans. I've been picking quite a lot off them, but they're good sized beans. They're fairly reasonable size beans, and there's quite a lot of them coming onto the plants themselves, and they're only just starting to come into fruit now. But when these finish as a broad bean in a salad, then I'll have dried broad beans, which I can use to make falafels. I can make hummus out of it, and so I can actually use dried broad beans in cooking at home. Unfortunately, onions get a bit too big from time to time, so I don't know how you can use an onion that big. Garlic. And there's brown onions. The brown onions will keep longer than the red onions, and there's white onions. So I hope to have onions all through the season. I've also got leeks growing in the veggie patch. I've actually got royal purples in these front ones, and I've got collar band potatoes on the other side. There, I grew about 80, I harvested about 89 kilos. And I put them in bags like this so that the birds can't get them. And voila, we have good looking grapes, and they'll be ripe in another couple of weeks. They're probably a little bit sour just yet, but I don't charge anything for anything I do, and I don't expect anything for what I do, but I strategically give out a lot of stuff, and strategically it comes back, and so I do get rewarded for a lot of the produce, of my excess produce that I have, and I don't try and look for any money. The whole thing, I just look for the favours.